Hello, Algebra 1 students. I miss you guys, and I am here to do a quick video on completing the square. So I know you've had other videos describing how to complete the square, but this is just an extra optional one to watch. And I do have a special guest, and the special guest is my son, Dean, in my messy house. Don't judge. But you may hear some baby noises. I put a pacifier in his mouth to try to keep him quiet, but he's a little fussy, so we'll see if we can get away with making this video without him fussing too much. Here's the deal, you guys. Completing the square can be used actually to solve quadratic equations, but also to rewrite a quadratic equation from standard form, which is what this first example is in, to vertex form. Vertex form is the one that looks like parentheses squared and then maybe a number at the end, okay? So that's the purpose of using completing the square. For right now, we are using it to go from standard form to vertex form, okay? So the first step in completing the square is to get the constant over to the left side. The constant's the plain number. So I am just moving that 12 over. It looks like this, y plus 12. And I'm going to do a blank space here because we are going to add in a number to both sides of the equation that will actually complete the square for us. So I should mention also that I just made this example up. It's not from your notes or anything. And baby's pacifier fell out. I have no idea where it went, but he's being good, so we are in luck. Good job, buddy. So I'm going to continue on. So again, we moved the constant over and put in some blank spaces. Our next step is to actually complete the square. So to complete the square, we're going to take that middle number that's with the x. I'm going to kind of do this off to the side. I usually label it CTS for complete the square. Take that middle number, 10, divide it by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and then square that number. 5 squared is 25. So 25 is the number that you add to both sides of the equation, okay? So next, what we're going to do is rewrite both sides of the equation. And the left side's always easier. We're going to simplify. So we're going to add 12 and 25. So that's y plus 37 equals. Now on the right side, what we're going to do is actually factor this trinomial. It factors, and it will always factor to the same thing twice. That's why we call it complete the square. We made it a perfect square trinomial. So this is going to factor to x plus 5 and x plus 5, which is the same as x plus 5 quantity squared. All right, so one trick is that when we went and divided this middle number by 2, whatever that number is the number that goes in the parentheses that's squared. One question a lot of students ask about complete the square is, hey, where did that 25 go? That 25 is in this x plus 5 quantity squared. If I took x plus 5 squared and FOILed it out, guys, I would get this. I would get x squared plus 10x plus 25. So this is equivalent to x plus 5 squared. It's just the FOILed out version of x plus 5 squared. And so that is why we can go from one form to the next. So I'm going to delete all of this, and I'm going to finish my problem. The very last step of the problem is to move the 37 back over to the other side. Oh my gosh, Dean just farted, and I am sorry if you guys heard that. That is hilarious. He just ate, so little gassy, but I promise it wasn't me. That was the baby. All right, so here's my final answer. This is now in vertex form. So the answer is y equals x plus 5 quantity squared minus 37. I'm going to do the next one a little bit faster. Okay, so we're going to once again start subtracting over the 16 or the whatever that constant is and put in blank spaces. So y minus 16 plus blank okay, equals x squared minus 2x plus blank. Next step is to complete the square. Take the middle term, -2, we don't need the x, just -2 divided by 2. This is the complete the square step. All right, -2 divided by 2 is -1, and then just square that. Now, when I square -1, it comes out to be just +1, okay? So +1 to both sides, that's the number I add in. Simplify. -16 plus 1 is -15. Factor. But the trick is whatever this number is before you square it, so including the minus, is what goes in the parentheses. And now last step is to just move that back over. So we're going to add the 15 over to the other side. So my final answer is x minus 1 quantity squared plus 15. And that's the answer. That's the much quicker version of completing the square. Okay, so practice makes permanent. I would definitely practice, and hang in there. This is a harder concept. And next chapter, hopefully you guys won't get too confused, but if you practice this enough, it shouldn't be too bad. Thanks.